Button, and we are live with the Bill Gregg Open Round 8 preview and the Round of 16 review. Right now, the screen on this on my Twitch broadcast is kind of blank because I don't want to spoil it for people that maybe accidentally loaded this up. So if you don't want to be spoiled with the Round of 16 results, turn the VOD off. If you don't care, continue watching. And who do I have with me? But I've got BoIt with me again. So hello,
What
BoIt.
what is going on?
So, you were just the guy was just hyping me up right before we started. Now you can barely even talk. But yeah. So what do you think?
Yeah.
We are all the way down to 8 players. Well, actually, technically nine because
Yes.
one match isn't done yet. But 8 players.
We're getting to the exciting part of the tournament, round of 8, where the best players are left standing, and we're going to be entering the double elimination.
Yes,
This
but
is very
first,
exciting.
let us go over the last round results. I'm gonna just throw all of them on the screen here, and there are our last round results. And now I was working all weekend, and so far I've only been able to watch just a few of these games. And what really popped out to me in these games were just the high number of 3-0s. That kind of boggled my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's when we're being honest, it's a little bit to be expected, but also you still like how did that happen? I mean, if you look at the seedings, it's like 1 versus 16, and if we were to compare like a tournament like this to say like the tennis that's currently going on, the Australian Open going on,
Mm,
and you're gonna have like the first seed playing the 16th seed, and the first seed is just that much better. It's like only a rating difference of like 50, but it's that 50 difference is so much. And those players that are slightly less good may be able to steal a game, but oftentimes it's just a complete wash, and that's kind of what it looked like happened
yeah,
this round.
I guess you're right because especially on higher levels where you got players that are just don't make mistakes and while like a 1650 versus a 1700 you could maybe that kind of can go both ways just
Yeah,
because of inconsistency. I guess your top players just are so consistent that they will routinely beat the players they are just slightly better than, and that's what we saw in this round for sure.
yeah.
Well,
A couple of there's a we can go through them though. So
we
player
will.
versus
We will.
Heimdall.
Player versus Heimdall. Now, hey, I can hear myself echo a little bit. Can you do
Oh,
something
I'll
about that?
turn you. I'll turn you down.
As much as I like hearing myself talk, I prefer to only hear myself once, not twice.
That's definitely my bad.
That's okay. That's all right. But yeah, let's go through them in an order here. And the reason we're doing this review is because obviously in the round of 8, there's only 4 games to go. So if we were just to do that, that would be like a 5-minute stream. But yeah, the first match, player versus Heimdall. Now, this was expected because of how Heimdall got to this point of the tournament, which actually he managed to get forfeit wins in the first 2 rounds. So he actually got here without playing a single game. The dream.
Yes, yes, yes. Super unfortunate for Cowboy and Count. I don't know where he went, and
Hmm.
Heimdall just got to go through and play player.
Yeah, yeah, that's what was that was supposed to play count the last round, but just I don't know. I hope count's okay because haven't heard of him, haven't
Yeah, he
heard from
kind of
him for like the last
yeah,
two
he kind of
weeks.
just dropped off the face of the planet. Hey,
Yeah, well, hopefully not literally, but
yeah,
figuratively.
of course,
But yeah,
figuratively.
in this series we had player going as normal Greek. I think he was Hades once, and then I think Hades twice, and then Zeus once, and mostly pretty easy wins. It looks like he played a little bit. He played against Heimdall's Aranos, and then in the last game on the Fields of Punishment, Heimdall went Loki, which was kind of a steamroll for player there. So really not a whole lot to go into other than players really good. And hello,
Mm.
Pahuko. Good to have you along. But yes, but our next series was a little bit more exciting. Hell's Ravage versus More Champion. What do
Yes.
you did you happen to catch these games at all yet, or
I did do this series for the recorded games.
okay?
It was Hells went Uranus in the first game against Moore's Uranus and went down. I think
Mm-hmm.
Moore just kind of played the meta, and it was Hells just couldn't keep up. And then Hells switched to Odin for the rest of the series, and actually just completely stomped Moore. Um,
Mm,
I don't think any game was like too close. Oh, there was one game where where Moore almost survived the Ragnarok,
okay.
and but he's got gold stars in the end. Like Hell's had no economy going, but
Yeah.
too many units.
But yeah, I know that was I think Hell's I think so far actually in this entire round of 16, that was technically the only upset. I think Hells was ninth seed and Moore was 8th seed,
Mm.
which at least tells us that you and I, man, we seeded these top players right. They're winning. The top players are winning.
Man, I should have entered the prediction contest here at the very start. If I get all of these, if we get one through, well, I mean, we got the more Hell's Ravage wrong, and Hell's was very adamant in his private messages that he should be seated higher than Moore, and he definitely showed that
Well,
there. But
you talk the talk. That's what you got to do, you
yeah,
know.
exactly, he
That's
did.
that's all that matters. You think you should be better than this player, then you beat him. Hey, good. Hello, Militilates and Neurological. Good to have a few people rolling in to watch this preview. But yeah, then the next match. So yeah, Hells is I think very happy that he he won. I know he was taking a little bit off the chin there from some comments in the community, but he showed some people. There were a lot of people that
Yeah,
were saying Hells was seated way too high, and well, here he is. Yeah,
exactly.
beard looks good, doesn't it? Thank you, thank you. But yeah, our next series, Skady versus Gold Lion, two Brazilian buds who duked it out. I did catch these games, um, and I don't. Did you watch them or get to them yet, boy?
No,
So I
did
guess
not.
I might spoil it for you, but it was I think Zeus Aranos, which Scatty won that really easily, and then they went Aranos mirrors the next two games, and really in both of those games, Gold Lion had chances, but in each of those he kind of made just one or two key mistakes in fights and lost fights and then got gold starved in both game 2 and game 3. And that kind of goes kind of to what you were saying at the beginning of the stream, and that while these players are rated similarly, that 50 points at the top, you know, 1900 versus an 1850, is just so much more consistent and won't make those little mistakes. And one mistake against a good player, and he will capitalize. And 3-0 there. I thought maybe Goal Line would be able to get like one, but no,
Yeah,
nada.
I actually did catch these games. I was in bed watching you.
Oh,
So
oh yeah, yeah, you're right. You were
yeah.
in bed watching me and BoIt in bed. I don't know about that. But yeah, that was those games. Even though it was a 3-0, like I felt like those two games were like really interesting and just showing like just how much one bad fight can just end a game, and we had that there.
Yes.
And then our other one. Now I haven't caught these games, and I was looking forward to hopefully a close match between Brickhead and Odin King. I believe you streamed these
I
live,
did.
correct?
I got to catch a game live. Yes, Australian time zone coming in clutch. I raced home from work. I finished work at like 9:30 my time, and I had to pack up as well. And then the games were scheduled for 10, and these guys are nice enough to wait for me to get home because it was a half-hour drive. But yeah, I got to catch him, and Brickhead just asserted his dominance the entire time.
Huh.
It was disgusting.
I didn't. I again, that was the expected result, but I thought Odin King would pick up a win or two. So that
Yeah.
to me was a
I
little
think we
bit of
also saw Brickhead going Hades.
yes, he was going. I saw that in the game feed that he went Hades. So I wonder if he will continue. I mean, he's a Norse player by trade, but has been playing some Hades in this tournament, so we'll see if he continues that. And this is just a preview. And yes, there we did already talk about the Hell's Ravage seeding, so you missed it. Sorry. But yeah, I thought Odin King would. I know Odin King going into it was kind of optimistic that he'd be able to do something, but not so. Not so.
I'm sure Odin King's taken games off Brickhead in the past, but yeah, when you get to these tournament games, people are trying their very, very best, and that's when it's you're not going to get those sneaky wins you might get off like a player who's not giving their all in a random 1v1 rated game. Like these tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
they want to win, so
Mm-hmm.
they show up for the games. That's why they're the best.
Oh shoot. And then the next one was Chemo versus Senseway. And Chemo, I think, kind of trashed Senseway with a variety of gods. There,
Yeah, I didn't get to catch these games. I haven't seen them yet, but Sensui said in the old chat, sorry, I couldn't put up more of a fight. Kimo is very strong now, and that is definitely the case.
yeah. Well, I mean, he would definitely was still not up to speed from what he was a few years ago as far as skill level was Senseway. So not entirely unexpected. And Chemo is, I mean, generally doesn't get in the tournaments. At least historically hasn't played in tournaments, but I mean, he's a great player. It's just the question kind of was, would he be able to show up in a tournament and win like he does on the random 1v1s? And so far, he has. And yeah, he kind of trashed Senseway,
Mm.
dumpstered him, but that's okay. I mean, maybe 3 years ago would have been a different story. But since we did well for just coming back, I mean, I thought he would do more. I didn't think he'd win, but I thought he'd win at least a game because it seemed like he'd kind of come on quite a bit in the last couple of weeks since he came back. But
Yeah,
again,
in my experience, it takes at least a month to shake off the rust, and then it takes like another month to like get up to date with the meta. And 2 weeks is just a big ask for someone in a bit of a old game where you're not putting the time in really. So
yeah.
he did really well for coming back, and he took out Mickey Hedge, who uh, arguably could have beaten him, but he it went Sensei's way, and
hmm But it was
yeah,
it was good to have the return of the king for the tournament, even if he doesn't make it in the final eight. It was nice to have
yeah,
him back. And then the
definitely.
next matchup we saw was Joe versus Chesophilus. Chesophilus was kind of my dark horse because he's pretty good and just again kind of like Chemo never really plays in at least Voobly tournaments, but
Mm.
I guess he didn't have it
Yeah,
against Joe.
I think if he was seated a touch higher, maybe had the Fox seating instead of his seating, he may have taken that Matria scam. But I don't really see him beating or maybe if he was had the Hell's Ravage seed, he may have taken out more as well. But I don't really see him beating many of the other people in this tournament.
Or maybe if he had the more seeding, he could have beaten Hell's Ravage.
Yeah. It could have been any of that, but like you just never know. And I'd be interested to see some of these some of these matches where these players lost and have like a little show match between what could have been like a Gesso versus Moore, or like a Fox versus, we haven't got to that game yet, but Fox versus one of the other players yet. So
Yeah, and Joe played. I think he went triple. All 3 games was Egyptian, and was able to
yeah, it
win them
was
all. So,
double set ISIS, I think.
hmm and then the kind of the match of the week, not really kind of, but it was the match of the week, was an incredibly long match between Matrius and Fox. I didn't have a chance to really catch any of the games, but I was looking at the timeline or the length of time of these games. And game time, this 5 game series was just over 3 hours. Whew, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time for a best of five. Like, what is that on average for the games? Like 45 minutes a game?
45, yeah, 45-minute average. That's that's a long time. I mean, that's kind of yeah, that's a
This is why
marathon.
this is why we don't have best of sevens or best of nines in this tournament, because when the players get equally matched, games go on. They
Hmm
go on a long time. It's really hard to kill someone in this game when you're not that much better than him.
Yeah, and I mean the way those kind of the gods are, it looked like it was. I mean, with going Egyptian, that'll tend to slow the game down, which Fox did, and you had Egyptian into. I feel like the longest potential games are, well, either Egyptian v Egyptian or Egyptian versus Greek, and that's what we saw. And this
Hmm.
was a lot of Egyptian versus Greek, and that was resulted in some very long games. But I mean, a great series, especially if you like long ones. But oh, Foxy just couldn't quite pull it out.
Exactly.
And again, I said it last week, and really, the fact that Fox is able to play this well with not playing very much is very impressive to me. Because generally, you need to, at least play pretty consistently to kind of keep that top level. And Fox is able to do that basically just showing up on the weekend and playing a few games. So, this is maybe something where we could hypothetically say if only Fox had less of a life, he could still be in this tournament.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch those games. Definitely
yeah.
going to be a fun one.
And then our last match still yet to be played, Shelty versus Three-Eyed Odin. The reason it's delayed is because Three-Eyed Odin, which is also No Mercy from the Nilla um, circle, he was away on vacation this past week. So we're hoping that they'll be able to get their schedules together and play early this week, and then not delay the upcoming round of 8 at all,
Yeah,
and get right into that.
yeah. We really don't want to admin win in this late a stage, but if we have to, it will be Shelties. And Three Odin's my dark horse, and he's going up against Shelty, who's a monster player. So unfortunately, I don't see him winning, but I see him taking a game off Shelty or two, and
We'll
that'll be fun.
see. We'll see. But yeah, we definitely don't want to admit him, especially
Yeah.
because I mean, I know he messaged me like
Yeah,
a week
he's a good scheduler,
he
and
messaged ahead.
you can see from the games before, he scheduled good against Mito and Demontis, and the games played very much on time. So both Chelsea and Triado are good at keeping to what their
Yeah.
word. So I'm expecting to see these games happen like as soon as he gets back. They have a similar time zone, I believe. So it'll be like a 14 GMT sort of game. I think on a weekday would probably
Yeah.
make sense.
Hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah.
And yeah, Egyptians, I wouldn't. It depends who you ask. If you ask the Egyptians, they'll say that Egi is nerfed right now. But I don't think so. I think, let's put it this way. If I say this from time to time, basically Egyptian, and really kind of all of them, has been at the top of the food chain for 15 years. So they could be at the bottom of the food chain for 15 years, and it'd be even, you know? But it's not like that anyway. But that's kind of, you've had 15 years to
Yeah.
be in the spotlight. It's okay. But they're still completely fine. I mean, they are slightly not as strong as they used to be, but they're still, you could still do stuff with them. And then we had Fox played with it. Joe played with them. Those are our two main.
Chesso,
Chesso.
Goldline.
Gold, not in the last series. Gold Lion didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, Joe won with them. Fox lost barely. But anyway, that is our round of 16. We will now go down to our next item of business, which
And with this next item of business, there is a new bracket because of the way the challenge thing works. I have to create a new bracket to make it double elimination.
I didn't update that.
So I'm just going to link that in the chat for you guys to have a look at, just to see what's going to happen. There's no surprises. It's exactly what you think. So basically the loser of game 1 plays the loser of game 2, and the loser of game 3 plays the loser of game 4. And we just do it like that up until the finals. And then the winner of the losers final will play the winners final.
Yeah, so double elimination at this point.
I'm not sure if we decided if there was going to be a like an advantage for the person that goes through the winners final to the end or not. I can't remember if we made that decision or not.
Kind of TBD, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's either going to be a best of 7 with the winner having a 1-game advantage, or it's just going to be another best of 5 and no advantage. The advantage is you've got to play one less game.
Yeah, we'll see. We might even kind of discuss it with maybe some of the players and kind of fish out and see what. Obviously, not discuss it like in the finals, where I think I should get a 2-game advantage.
Well, I mean, the other option that we haven't talked about would be like he gets to pick one. He gets to pick one map.
Yeah, something like that.
That he wants to play on,
which might be all right.
A big advantage.
Yeah, but anyway, our first round of 8. Let me fix this on my screen. Is player versus Hell's Ravage. And so far, I think for most people, Hell's Ravage has overachieved. I don't think so. I'm not surprised that he's in the top 8. I would be surprised if he beats player, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain. I think I've seen Hells do really well against Shelty when he's very rusty. I actually think Hells, like, he definitely has a potential to upset. I expect player to win, but like if Hells brings it, I don't see any reason why he's like an automatic loss.
Yeah,
like he's going to be a competitive opponent.
Do we want to take a look at the maps that they'll be playing on?
I think we do.
Yes, we probably do. So let's see. These are what the randomizer has brought up for player and Hell's Ravage. It's starting off with the new map Moat, and then you go to another semi-water map, Anatolia, and then we switch over to land completely, Tundra, Oasis, and Alfheim.
This is exciting. I mean, Moat is one of my. There's 2 maps of the new set that are my favorites. It's Moat and Borderlands, and I love Moat because it's like it's just super different with the amount of fish you have. You have to like actually have a unique build to go into it, and not only that, there's some like real interesting defensive maneuvers you can do with transport ships,
Hmm.
and it kind of makes land rushes less good. But we'll see what happens there. These maps don't necessarily favor Greek over the other civs. I don't think Anatolia is renowned for its Egyptian favorage. Uh, I don't think that that really means that Greek does bad on it. I expect Hells to actually play a couple of different gods in this series
Yeah, I think
once
so
they want.
too. That is the one advantage. I mean, player being so good can play other gods as well, but he typically just keeps it to Greek in the tournaments. But Hells can play a lot of different gods well, and I think
Mm.
it's a nice assortment of maps here. I mean, you got your 2 land water, and then you got your 3 land, and you've got Tundra, which is kind of an aggressive high hunt. Then you've got kind of Oasis and Alfheim, which in a way kind of play pretty similar. Kind of low hunt generally.
Depends on the seeding of Alpine. I
Yeah,
mean, you can have some marshy Alpines.
But usually you don't. Alfheim tends to be on the medium to low hunt.
Yes, some it's like this the hunt spawn's going to either be like 2 elk and like 3 deer at the bare minimum, and then they can also be like
3 Aurochs.
3 packs of 5 elk
Yeah,
with a pack of 5 deer, a pack of 5 caribou, and 3 auroch. So it's got some diversity.
yeah. You need to beat Agar 100-0 to get my respect. Hey, I told you I wasn't. I said I wasn't surprised to see you in the final 8. Um, I'd be surprised if he beat Player though. I mean, he's the 1 seed, and I think it's one of the rare times where I think even people in the community actually get together and agree that Player is the 1 seed. Like the one thing they could agree on is, yeah, Player's probably gonna win, but we'll see. It's a nice set. I think you could do stuff on these maps. They're not necessarily Zeus dominant maps, but again, Zeus is pretty good on most maps. But it's a good set.
Yeah, I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised to see player just flex on Hells a little bit and go Hades. Uh, but he might change that up if he loses a game.
Maybe we'll see. Oh dang it, where's my pen? I was gonna keep track. I don't have room, unfortunately. Somebody wanted to know about the god numbers here, so we've got 1 Greek and 1 kind of random because Hell's kind of plays all over the place for our gods in these last final 8. But let's move on to the next series here. Let's get these maps off the page. Let's change our players to, what is it? Number 4, Scotty, versus number 5, Brickhead. And so we can kind of move this around. Now, Scotty kind of been playing a little bit of, you know what? So far we've seen a lot of Aranos from Scotty. So I'm going to give him Aranos, and Brickhead normally Norse, but he's been playing some. I mean, he went up with Hades, so I'll give him the Norse and the Greek next to his name. And
Yep.
hmm,
Scotty is actually a Zeus man from back in the day, but
mhm.
these top players they've been playing so long and for so many years of games that they know all the gods, and
Yeah,
they know what maps suit their each god, and they're gonna be trying to pick their style, their gods, the ones they want to win with, the ones they have the best chance to. So
yeah, and
let's see this
let's
map.
see these mats for these two fine fellows. It is going to be all land. Oh, all land maps. It's tundra,
Mm.
painted desert, marsh, fields of punishment, and then Alfheim gets to end the series again. So 5 land maps in a row, and I could see this going kind of towards Skatey's favor with Atlantean. I think they're a nice set of Aranos land maps for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen Zeus win these maps against Uranus here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Brickhead whip out his Zeus and attempt some cheese, or even, or might not even be cheese, just some really tough to beat Zeus strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Painted Desert's such a bizarre map, and you can get a lot done with just the Odysseus, Jason, double centaurs. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Skady not play Uranus on some of these maps,
Yeah,
just because.
Brickhead might go Odin, and
Yeah,
Odin does play
yeah,
pretty well into Aranos,
exactly,
and not
exactly.
so
That's what I
well
was.
against Zeus.
Yeah,
So we'll see. That's sometimes with the blind pick, you get into a little bit of a crapshoot as far as hoping. If I go Odin, will he go
mm.
Zeus, or should I then go not Odin, and then will he then somehow know and go
It's
Aranos?
funny though, because is it even worth it? Like we've seen lots of people complain about the Odin Uranus matchup being broken for Odin, but we've seen Odin lose against Uranus in this tournament. We've seen Odin crush Uranus in this tournament. I don't think it's as simple as Odin simply straight up beats Uranus, but I do think that Zeus clearly has the advantage over Odin. So, man, we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, good night, Else. Good night. Um, oh, I had a thought come to my mind and then it disappeared. That's okay. Happens all
Age
the
is
time.
showing.
It does happen all the time. But yeah, cool. 5 land maps. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's gone. That thought has disappeared, joining many of my other thoughts. But all right. Well, that'll be an interesting match there. I'll be interested to see what gods they go. But let's move on to our next match, and that is going to be, I think, undetermined. Yeah, number 7, Matrius versus Shelty /3. And that's going way off my little thing here. And Matrius so far has been mostly Zeus. I think he picked a couple Arano, or not Aranos, maybe couple. I think, did he go Loki against Fox today? So I think he went a couple off
I
gods.
haven't seen the games, so I have no idea. But
Okay.
Matrius is like known for his Thor and Loki before he picked up Poseidon, so I know he can play those gods really well.
Hitting the evidence lockers too much. Let's move up and see their maps here. It's hard to know what who he's really. You can't really talk about it too much because we don't know who he's going to play yet. But this, we do know what maps they'll be on, and Matrius will get another Metit, Ghost Lake, Savannah, Blue Lagoon, and then if we get there, Arctic Craters to end that series.
Interesting. If Three Eyed Odin beats Shelty, we can talk about that one first. Three Eyed Odin's been playing Odin and Zeus. Those are the gods he's been successful with, so I assume he will play Zeus on Mediterranean and then maybe some Odin on the more open maps. Definitely Arctic Craters is an interesting one because you can wood starve really easily with
Mm-hmm.
Odin because of the forest's fire, and then all the forests are quite far away from your starting town center. So if we get there, that'll be interesting. But Shelty, on the other hand, he is, I would say, a red god player. He plays all the gods really well, and I assume he's probably going to do something similar where he plays
Yeah.
Zeus and Odin for these ones here.
Yeah. On paper, Schulte should win against Three-Eyed Odin. And then, hey, good night, Yano. And then it'd be him against Matrius. That's the most likely result. And again, Schulte, you used to be just a Loki player back in the day. Well, as soon as he started playing with two hands, then he started adding more gods to his repertoire, and now he can play with quite a few really well, and that's what
I
kind of
can play
makes
with
him.
3 hands now.
Somehow he's grown a third hand. But yeah, that's kind of what makes him good in these kind of tournaments is that he can play so many gods well, and Matrius is a little bit more of just one, primarily culture god Poseidon. But these are some decent. If he wants to, these are some decent Poseidon maps too, or Greek. I mean, Merid is a Greek map.
Yeah.
Ghost Lake,
If he
Savannah.
predicts, if he predicts the Odin, I wouldn't be surprised. Matreus predicts an opponent goes Odin and he picks Loki on one of the land maps here, and prepares like some sort of Heimdall shenanigans, or just plays standard Loki stuff and makes it difficult for them.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, we'll see. I think I mean all these matches should be pretty fun to watch. And again, the remember, we'll say it again. This is the double elimination round, so all these players are in the money now. They're guaranteed at least some part of the prize pool, and they also can lose one match and not be out of the tournament yet. Jeez, you guys. But yeah, so even if they lose this, there's a little bit of less stress, I think, in this round because you can kind of lose and it's not a big deal. But so maybe you might see maybe a few players, maybe not at like your 100 out of 100 effort, but still you don't want to lose because then you're just one bad match away from being out of the tournament. But that's one thing to kind of talk about. But one
Yeah.
last thing to talk about, unless you got any more thoughts about that,
No,
is our last match of the round of 8, which is our third seed, Mr. Joe, versus our sixth seed, Mr. Chemo. And Joe has been so far Egyptian. Chemo really hasn't been tested that hard this tournament yet, so what he'll play, we don't know. Historically, he is an Egyptian player, though he really hasn't done much Egyptian this tournament. But we'll see when it comes down to this stage. Will he switch over to Egyptian? Will we get Egyptian mirrors here, or will he do something else? What do you think?
it's going to be map dependent. I think Chemo plays Uranus well. He plays Stet well. He plays Zeus well. I expect to see many different gods from him in this matchup.
And let's take a look at the maps here. Our last map set. I like this part. This is like my most enjoyable part of the tournament. It's almost more fun than the games. It's just seeing what maps these players get. And here we are with Lumber Camp, Anatolia, Marsh, Watering Hole, and Tundra. Again, Tundra very common this round.
Wow. Wow. I can see this matchup going 5 series just off these maps. Easily. Easily 5 series.
And some very nice Egyptian maps. It's especially that game number 2. I think wow, what in the world's going on? You getting a truck running through your house?
It's just some guy with a really large motor on his bike driving by.
And then we've got, but yeah, I think Moat also was kind of or not Moat. That's not Moat. That's Lumber Camp. I think Lumber Camp is a pretty decent Eggy map too. And then Watering Hole is kind of a renowned Eggy boom map. So,
Mm.
oh,
It's an interesting one, lumber camp, because you don't get that many fish. So those like crazy booms that people have been developing for like Anatolia don't work on lumber camp. You don't want to advance at like 6 minutes with 21 fishing chips because there's not enough fish there.
generally
So
you'll get
you have to train. You have to like work out a way you're going to play the map, and go from there. I expect to see like super fast second town center, third town center, maybe from both players on this map, and just ignore water altogether.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really necessarily ignore it because it is about 7 fish per player. So that's nice. And then the other
Yeah,
thing,
what I mean by ignore it is like throw up enough docks and that you don't
oh
and
yeah,
not actually try and push off your opponent's water, like just
yeah, and,
defensive water.
and then late game, you definitely would get at least a lot of value from your siege boats because of how much they generally. I don't think they can be in
Mm.
range of town centers, but I mean that does control a ton of the map. Just having siege boats. Blackadder thinks it could be a 10-hour game.
There's a weird potential for the gold mine spawn in the base as well, being close to the shore, and or the home gold mine being close to the shore. So you can actually push off that gold mine with archer ships really early. But apart from that, winning the water doesn't do too much.
Yeah, it'll be a close match. I think both these two players are pretty evenly matched.
Yep.
And man, Chemo could take this. He's
Yep.
he's doesn't play many tournaments, which was for me why I kind of didn't seed him in the top four was just because the lack of tournament play. But so far he's looked really good, and he can beat Joe in normal Voobly games. Can he beat him in a tournament? We will
That's the
find out.
question. When people are trying their best is when you really see it, and these are the games that matter. If you beat someone in the rated 1v1 ladder, it means everything to their ego, but it means nothing to their actual skill level. But these tournament games, you got ego on the line, you got money on the line, and you got the glory, big glory on the line.
Yes. Yes,
All right.
you do. But
Should
yeah,
we
I think it'll be a
discuss
good
how
week.
this? Sorry, should we discuss how this loses go, or just kind of leave it?
What as far as like where the brackets go and stuff?
Yeah, how the double elimination is gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, I would think most people know how double M works, where you're not out until you lose twice. But if we're looking at the losers, so your losers of the top two games will play each other, just like the
Mm,
winners will. So loser of Player versus House Ravage will play the loser of Skady versus Brickhead, and then same thing for obviously the other match. And then you kind of go through
yeah,
the bottom layer of the bracket, and every time somebody on the top layer loses, they go down to the bottom. So we'll get a lot of good matches, and it won't just be repeat matches. We'll see different matches, different players. So that'll be
yeah.
fun.
The only potential for a repeat match is if someone from the bottom side. Wait, how would that work? So if like let's say player gets to the finals, if player knocks out Shelty in the semis, and then Shelty knocks out, for example, Joe in the the losers finals, we might see a second player versus Shelty, or second player versus Joe. That's the only real possible double matchup, but it'll be on different maps. It'll be very different. So no
Mm,
problems there.
yeah. So yeah, you're guaranteed no repeat match until the third round of the double elim. It looks like the way I'm looking at it. So that'll be good. So we will see quite a few different matches in this double M stage. So I think it'll be pretty fun. Pretty fun, a nice prize pool thanks to our anonymous donor. And so far it's been a pretty awesome tournament, and it's obviously the tournament cannot happen without the players, and we do appreciate all of the players who have been showing up to play their games. We've had not some admit losses where people aren't showing up, but for most part, we've had people showing up, playing their games, getting the games played on time has been awesome. No delays yet in the tournament, so that's the best part, is that we've been able to continue without any delays. So thank you, players, first off, for playing, and thank you all the viewers who've been watching the streams, watching the recorded game streams, watching YouTube, Twitch, all of that. I mean, we've had quite a few. I saw we were getting like 150 viewers on some of the games today, which that's awesome for a round of 16. I mean, we've got so far to go, and we had upwards of 140, 150 viewers for some of our games today. So that's really awesome.
Very happy that everyone's getting behind this and it's going well.
About 199 in the last match. Cool. That's a great number. Almost 200. That's pretty awesome, because it's been a while since we've been able to get a kind of a tournament with this good of a prize pool, and kind of it's just all went well. Good work, thanking you. Yeah, you're welcome. Especially Warlords in the chat. We appreciate all of his great commentary in the chat. That's always good too. But yeah, it's so nice to get this nice the tournament of this kind of magnitude, to come in this kind of, you could almost say at this point, kind of the waning life of Age of Mythology. We hope not, but I mean, this game has been around for 15, 16 years, so it's nice to have a tournament like this. I mean, I'm going to get nostalgic a bit, but just imagine like streams back in 2004, 2005.
Mm.
And
We
how
had the only streams we had were the WCG, and
they were so
going
bad.
back and watching those is just like, and they got some guy who had no idea
No
what he was
clue.
talking about,
Nothing.
and no, and
Could barely even
yeah,
speak English. He's like, they're just, that's almost half the entertainment. Like, if you're wondering, you can YouTube it. What is it, WCG
yeah,
2003?
2003
And
exactly,
you can
yeah.
watch them on YouTube, and oh man, it's just awful. It's so funny, but it's bad. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you wish you could have had it back then. But
I mean, not
oh
only
well.
that, it's the only land tournament, that a significant land tournament we've ever had. Which I think, if like the community could get behind it and we could put together enough money to like fly people to a place and put on like a
That would be
land tournament,
crazy.
that would make my year or my life.
They do it
Like
for
the
Age of
difference, the
Empires too.
difference Yeah, the difference between like LAN and online is so significant. If you've ever played like against the AI offline, you'll realize how fast the game actually moves, and APM starts becoming really important because things go faster than you're used to. Reactions become more important than prediction in micro. Like you can react to a volley of arrows firing, command your unit to move before they get hit. Some really crazy stuff would happen, but wishful thinking, I think it would cost somewhere in the vicinity of $1,000 a player just to get them to the place and accommodation wherever we would choose, and then they would also have to agree to doing it. So
Yeah. We need some
difficulty.
we need some rich prince like Age of Empires 2 has to get to that point.
Yeah.
But it is what
Or
it
like,
is. It's still
yeah,
cool to have what we have. This is still awesome. So we are very
yeah, this is awesome.
appreciative of our donor who has made all of this possible, and that's awesome. But I think that about wraps it up for tonight. Do appreciate those that kind of tuned in to watch our little preview, and those later who will be watching. We also appreciate you guys, and should be a good round of 8 going on here, and hopefully we'll get Shelty versus Three-Eyed Odin in soon, so we can fully be ready for the round of 8. But yeah, for players who may be watching, who I don't think they are anymore, or watching later, let's start scheduling. Let's get these games, and let's have fun. That's the main thing in the end. Let's have some fun.
Yes, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we'll be having me and BoIt. I'm sure we'll be doing recorded game streams and such, and then we'll have mostly these games get played on next weekend. So if you're wanting to see live games, who is the favorite to win prediction? Oh, who is? I saw it going
Or,
into this upcoming week. I only had I was in second place. But I don't know
um,
what happened with this one. But yeah, predictions. It's kind of hard to get into it at the end because we've been doing predictions throughout the first few rounds where I think the winner gets like 50 Australian dollars, which I don't know how much an Australian dollar is really worth, but
it's a small. It's I think Australian to US is something like 70 cents on the dollar.
oh my goodness. But yeah,
Dollar to
predictions.
US.
We'll see how they're
Yeah,
go. And you probably don't have this week's tabulated up yet, do you?
I haven't done it yet, no. But last week, Chrono's 39. That's a big one. I think Solacing is 40.
Wiz was 39
Uh,
too. Oh my goodness.
somehow Wiz got. I think that might be a mistake there. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It has to be. It has to be a mistake.
There's definitely possibilities that I screwed up the first round because there's so many new games I had to go through, and I just like I
Yeah,
was trying to go fast, but um,
but
yeah. There's a bunch of people on 39 actually, like Flame,
yeah,
SN34. Players got 77 apparently.
he's way ahead.
God,
But
I did the something wrong there, but that's fine.
but anyway, we're gonna turn this off. I got a few things in Discord to do to get ready for this next stream, and it ended up being longer than I thought. We're 51 minutes for our preview slash review stream, which that's pretty cool though. We have had a lot of good compliments about our review slash preview streams. So we do appreciate everybody that gets compliments. People that complain, we don't appreciate that, even if it's constructive. No, this is perfect. No mistakes, no problems. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks BoIt for joining, and we will get some more good games coming to you another time. But for tonight, bye to everybody, and it's a Monday for most people, so have a good week, and that's it. Bye.
Goodbye.